Hello, beautiful people. Quick video on the eclipse, okay? Let's see if we can make this quick because I also want to give you exact tips for where the eclipse is going to fall in your chart. Okay, so an eclipse is a time when you're going to feel, probably subtly, but you're going to feel a big shift. Okay, something's going to shift in your life, and we're going to go through really quickly what depends where the eclipse falls in your chart, what that means, and which area of your life is going to be affected by this energy of change. But what are we talking about with this particular eclipse? Well, it's going to happen on December 14th. It depends, where you live. But okay, I'm in Los Angeles, so it's going to happen at 8:17 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Los Angeles time, and that is going to happen on Monday the 14th in 23 degrees Sagittarius. Okay, why is this important? 23 degrees Sagittarius. This is a total solar eclipse that is happening during a new moon. New moon means the sun is in one sign and the moon is in the same sign. Full moon, of course, they're in opposite signs. New moon, they're in the same sign. This happens to be the sign of Sagittarius, and if you saw the Sagittarius season video, you know what I'm talking about and what kind of energy we're dealing with here. It's freedom energy, it's reaching for the highest dream, it's vision, all that kind of stuff, okay? So why is this an eclipse that's a big deal? For one, it's the last eclipse before the great conjunction between Saturn in Aquarius at 0 degrees and Jupiter in Aquarius in 0 degrees that's going to be happening on the solstice, December 21st. Big deal. This is the ushering into official the age of Aquarius, okay? We all know that all of these things, ages, changes, and all that stuff happen gradually. You're feeling the effects or the what's going to be happening with the eclipse. You're already feeling it 2 days before, okay? Today is the portal, of course, 12/12 as well, and that's always sort of a big deal. 12 is a very significant number for us here on this third dimensional plane of existence that we live here on planet Earth, at least on the physical level, because many of us are already in fourth, fifth dimension on other levels, okay, on other dimensions of ourselves, such as mental or astral, whatever it may be. But this one is an interesting one because it falls more or less between 2 points. One is the Great Attractor. The Great Attractor is at 14 degrees Sagittarius. It's a point that astronomers call the Great Attractor because, for many reasons, but they used to think that it was a black hole, okay, or a wormhole. They weren't sure what it was. They're still not really quite sure what it is, but it was like this. It's like everything seems to be attracted there. We don't know what's going to happen, okay? That was at 14 degrees Sagittarius. The other point that this eclipse is going to fall in between is the point of the center of the galaxy, which is at 26, 27 degrees, more or less Sagittarius, okay? This point of the center of the galaxy, and I think I did a video in my Spanish channel, if you can watch it there, but maybe I'll do a video here, I definitely should. Wherever this point falls in your astrological chart, it tells you a lot about the mission that your spirit came to do here. It's not your personal purpose point, but it's a sort of a mission. Okay, so now you came to represent the archetypes of where we're heading. You came to do the work to help people get into the archetypes of where we're heading, but it's sort of like collective mission type of deal. So it's a really important thing to look up. Where in your chart does 26, 27 degrees Sagittarius fall? And with that information, you have to see, based on that house that it falls into, what that role is that you came to play in this sort of collective mission that we all come in, okay? So this eclipse is falling on 23 degrees. So we're talking 14 degrees Sagittarius, the Great Attractor, 26, 27 degrees Sagittarius, the center of the galaxy. This is falling on 23 degrees Sagittarius, okay? And Sagittarius doesn't do anything small. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is the largest planet in our solar system, and therefore anything that happens with Sagittarius is go big or go home, okay? So this eclipse, we're going to feel it. You're going to also be able to maybe see some of the behaviors, results, or physical things that this shift is going to be the sort of like causing as an effect, because Sagittarius is a fire sign. Fire signs rule action, doing things, manifesting stuff, okay? And so Sagittarius tend to have very strong manifestation energy. So whatever is going to happen on Monday the 14th, whatever you're going to be feeling that's going to be shifting for you on the inside, you're also very quickly, if not already, or if not shortly after, going to see it physically, actionably manifested, okay? So with that, let's go into per house, how this will affect you. So you have to have your natal chart done, okay? You can go to any of the free report places online and get your chart done with your birth time and your birth date and year and place. And you input your information, you're gonna come up with something that looks kind of like this, right? You're gonna have a birth chart that looks something like this. And it's this round thing. If you it's your first time in my channel, you know that you have some fundamentals of astrology videos that I have in this channel that will explain to you exactly what this is. But each of the signs has a specific house that it rules. Your circle of 360 degrees, which is your own personal birth chart zodiac, has divisions of 30 degrees per sign, 30 degrees per house. We call these little divisions or these little spaces in your chart houses, okay? And each one of these houses, depending on which one of these the eclipse falls in, that's where you're going to see the shift in your life. So I'm going to go through every single one very quickly so that you can kind of get an idea of where you might expect this shift that you're going to be feeling, okay? Each of these houses is ruled by a particular side of the zodiac. The natural zodiac starts with Aries ruling the first house of the zodiac because it's the first sign in the zodiac, and then Taurus is the second house, Gemini is the third, and so on and so on and so forth, okay? So let's go with some of these characteristics or these areas of your life, because the house in the chart is the where. So these areas of your life that may feel or be seen as actively affected by this changes that this eclipse is trying to make, okay? To prepare us to go into era of Aquarius, more change. If 23 degrees Sagittarius falls in your chart in the first house, you're going to feel or see this change with the self. First house of the zodiac, naturally ruled by Aries, the baby of the zodiac, the first sign. Therefore, it's all about me, the ego, myself, self-development, self-care, the physical body and its fitness. All of that might be the area in which you're feeling that you either a change is imposed upon you, which is what eclipses feel like, or a change needs to happen, okay? Second house, naturally ruled by Taurus, is a very physical house in that it rules money, okay? That element that really is something that we use as an energy for, exchange of goods and services here. Your house, okay? Not your home, but your house, physical things, okay? And also, on the intangible side, because it's a house of values, it rules your self-worth. So you may be feeling a shift that needs to happen there. Hey, raise your prices, raise your self-worth, raise your net worth, okay? Third house of the zodiac, naturally ruled by Gemini. The ancient astrologers, we're talking the Greeks and the Romans and the Babylonians, they used to see this, maybe not the Babylonians, but the Greeks and the Romans used to see this as the house traditionally that tells you a ton about your siblings, brothers and sisters. But now modern astrologers see this as a house because it's ruled by Gemini. Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. We see it as a house of 1, communication, and 2, the analytical mind. So we're talking about the way I think about things. We're talking about the way that I express things, my assertiveness versus aggressiveness or versus repressing what I have to say and all of that stuff, okay? Third house also rules, among many other things. You can watch the video. I have a video here on this channel that goes through every single thing for the houses, so you can watch that one for more details. But it also rules short distance trips. So like road trips or trips within a city or within a small country. Whereas the opposite house that we're going to talk about in house 9 in a little bit, it rules, long distance trips, okay? So travel, but short distance travel, quick, brief travel. Fourth house is a house that rules the family and home. It also rules your relationship with your mother, as well as beliefs that you've attained when you were a little kid in your childhood, okay? So that's where if the eclipse 23 degrees Sagittarius falls in there, those are the themes that would be requiring a change or asking for you to shift something or imposing a change on you. Fifth house is a house naturally ruled by the sign Leo. Okay, this is a house of creativity. Okay, it's both artistic creativity as in creativity for fun and for problem solving as well. Everything that is ruled by creativity. Okay, that power that we have that sometimes we do not engage in. Okay. Therefore, because the ultimate creation of all is children, it also rules a child or children. Okay. It also rules affairs and romances of the brief but fun kind. So, you know, just to throw that in there for good measure. Sixth house is the house of, I guess, among many things, or as seen traditionally, it was the house of service. Oh, interesting. Okay, as we hear this emergency vehicle here that I just heard, it's a house that rules service and health. Okay, so if the eclipse 23 degrees Sagittarius falls in this house for you, you're going to feel that you need a shift in, you know, when it comes to maybe your fitness, or maybe the way you eat, you know, anything that may require you to step up in terms of health or taking care of the health of others. So if you're in the healing arts, for example, this may be something that is activated, as well as work that is your daily work, your daily routine. Not necessarily what puts you on the map as far as career goes. That would be more 10th house, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the 6th house is really that work that you do daily to, you know, the routine that you have to carry out in order to just get stuff done, you know, to put things in order, to be organized, as well as, like, if you have that job that is not your dream job yet, or not the job that puts you, you know, on the map on a you know, social or cultural global level, but it's the job that pays your bills. Okay, those things are covered in the 6th house. 7th house is one of the favorite houses. Is the house of relationship, whereas its opposite house, the 1st house, is the house of me, in the house of self. The 7th house is the house of the other. Okay, how do I relate to others? So primarily my partner. Okay, my main relationship in my life. Also could be my business partner. If you work with a team or with a person in particular, and you know, this person you count on as your partner for businesses, or your partner in crime, or whatever it may be, that may be affected, or that may require a shift. Okay, these are the kind of relationships that are actually more serious relationships. If you have, you know, a relationship that you have that's kind of casual, that falls more under the 5th house of romances and affairs. But the 7th house is a serious relationship, the person you're married to, the person that you have a serious, stable, committed relationship to. Okay, whether it be romantic or it be business. 8th house is a house that's naturally ruled by Scorpio, and the 8th house rules transformation. So it's one of the big houses that if the eclipse falls in this house for you, you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel it on a deep level, and it's going to require digging into your subconscious mind, which is something that I love to do. Shadow work is so effective and so needed right now. And it's going to ask for you to kind of undergo a death for a rebirth to happen. Okay, the phoenix is actually one of the symbols for this house and for this sign, because it's the whole thing of, like, I gotta let things die in order for them to have a rebirth into something new, something better, something that's gonna take flight. Okay, other things that the 8th house rules, and maybe you'll see affected or activated when this eclipse happens, if you have this in your 8th house, is other people's resources. So whereas the 2nd house, its opposite house, is my money, my physical house, you know, my stuff, the 8th house is other people's money. If I manage, let's say, somebody's hedge fund, or if I'm a financial consultant, or if somebody's asking money of me, and there's like a relationship between me and another person with money, you know, I don't know, if I'm a stay-at-home dad, a stay-at-home mom, and somebody else provides for me, things like that. That's the type of thing that you'll see activated here, you know, as well as any other things that you may count under other people's resources. Okay. 9th house, naturally ruled by Sagittarius. This is a big house for this eclipse, because the eclipse falls in the signs that, you know, the sun and the moon will be in the sign that is the sign that naturally rules this house. And in astrology, there's a big thing with, like, oh, hey, it's the natural ruler of, therefore, more importance. So this is another house where you may feel it a little strong when it comes to this eclipse on Monday. The 9th house rules as the opposite house of the 3rd house. 3rd house is short distance trips. 9th house rules long distance trips. It rules really making big moves into another country. It rules, you know, traveling continent to continent. It really, because of that too, talks about culture and learning things from culture. The 9th house, Sagittarius is a sign, because this is the sign that naturally rules the 9th house. Sagittarius is a sign that loves learning for the purpose of acquiring wisdom. And we're not talking just like facts, like it's opposite Gemini. Gemini just wants the data, the fact, the bits, okay, the brief. Give me the brief. Sagittarius wants the depth of the information. So if the house that the eclipse falls under for you is the 9th house, you may feel a change or a shift to want to study something of a higher education nature. It could be like a course that's going to take your career to the next level. It could be, you know, I don't know, some college or something like that, or something a little more in depth for your spirituality maybe, okay? So these are the type of things that the 9th house rules. The 10th house is the house being at the top of the zodiac wheel, okay? This is sort of the zenith, the summit. It rules your career and profession and how that presents you to society, your role in society. Okay, society is a big word for this house. This is a house naturally ruled by Capricorn. It's been seeing, not this house, but Capricorn, the sign, and wherever it falls in your chart, has been seeing a lot of shift and change because there's been 3 planets that have been, you know, in a stellium together in this sign. That's going to be shifting now in December, okay? Saturn, which was in Capricorn, is now going to be in Aquarius, and Jupiter is also making this shift from the Capricorn to Aquarius. And so you're going to have these 2 planets break off that stellium, that sort of 3 amigo dynamic that they had, you know, Capricorn had going on. So there's not going to be much of an emphasis in like, hey, what can I get through my position in society, and what's my status through my career? But it's going to be going into more Aquarian energy of, this is what's going to happen when Saturn in 0 degrees Aquarius meets Jupiter in 0 degrees Aquarius on the solstice, December 21st, okay? Another video coming soon all about that. It's going to be more like stepping into the energy of, okay, I have this career. How can I add meaning into the world? How can I add to the innovation of the world? How can I add to the, you know, progress of the world? So 10th house is career, it's society, it's my role within that society. That's mainly what it is. And unlike the 6th house, which is just work and how I make my money, 10th house is profession, that thing that it's like my vocation, that thing that I'm really good at and that the world actually needs from me, you know, like the ikigai, right? The ikigai is like, what am I really good at? What are people willing to pay for? You know, what does the world need? And what do I love to do, right? So those 4 really important points for you to choose what you're going to spend 40 hours plus doing a week, okay? Depending on what your structure is. So that's 10th house. 11th house, if the eclipse 23 degrees Sagittarius falls in your 11th house, this is the house of friendships, naturally ruled by Aquarius, a very progressive house and also a house of change. But it's radical, sudden, night and day type of change, okay? So this is a house where the eclipse is also going to be like, whoa, where are we doing these shifts? And how quickly can we get this done? And how transformative and how like night and day can we make this look? So you can expect that kind of thing if this eclipse falls in this house for you. It rules friendships, it rules community, it rules innovation, you know, it rules technology as well in a way. So you can expect shifts and changes in that. I know somebody who, you know, I was talking yesterday to a bunch of family and I was like, oh yeah, you know, where's the eclipse going to fall for you and the shift that you're going to need? And, you know, the person had the eclipse fall in the 11th house, and literally she had just said that morning, you know, before, I really need to shift my friend circle. I really need to find new friends that support more the person that I'm becoming and all of that. That's the kind of change you get when your 11th house is activated, okay? House of friendship, house of community, that sort of thing. 12th house, traditionally a tricky house, okay? Ancient astrologers used to see this house as sort of like a kind of a, you know, if it was prominent in your house, you were maybe going to have a little more of a difficult life. I don't see it that way at all. For me, this is a house that rules spirituality and the collective unconscious, okay? So if you have, especially because this eclipse is going to happen in Sagittarius and it's going to have a square, therefore a difficult, okay? Square is a difficult aspect or relationship between planet in a sign and planet in another sign, okay? The relationship, geometric relationship is called an aspect. A square is a difficult aspect, so there's tension there. These planets somehow don't see eye to eye. All this energy that is in Sagittarius with this eclipse, we've got the sun, the moon, okay, new moon in Sagittarius. We've also got Mercury, the planet that rules the mind and communication, in Sagittarius. And we also have the South Node, the karmic point, the point that helps you revisit past, pending things, okay? All in Sagittarius. And then there's a square to Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is in dignities. It rules. Neptune in the natural zodiac rules Pisces, so it's important too. And these two are kind of like, hey, tension. So because Neptune and Pisces rule the 12th house of the zodiac and the natural zodiac, this is why I'm making a little bit of a bigger deal with this. Okay, if the eclipse falls in your 12th house, you're going to be doing some healing on a conscious or collective unconscious level. What do I mean by this? This is where I always say, heal the self, heal everybody, right? Heal the one, heal all, okay? This is where we're tapping into limiting beliefs that we may have that are part of many other people's limiting beliefs. This is the collective unconscious, heavy, transgenerational belief system, okay? Example, women are a lesser sex, men need to tell them what to do. Okay, literally recently had a conversation that triggered this for someone's, one of the closest people to me, a dear friend of mine. And it was sort of like, she's a strong warrior archetype, sun in Aries, which is the warrior of the zodiac, and was feeling herself be forced by, loved one or family member to do a trip or do something that she didn't really want to do because she wanted to be somewhere else. And so her warrior comes out and her anger comes out, because that's what happens when somebody sort of crosses our boundaries and we decide that we want to be over here and then they make us be over here. There's frustration, there's a gap, therefore anger. That's the natural response, especially if you're a sun in Aries. You're going to have some strong anger responses to things, okay? Got to accept who you are. Make sure that energy is not going to hurt anybody else, but you have to know that you have to allow yourself your feelings. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this with her, and apply surrender, let go of that energy so that you can actually see what are the opportunities in this situation that you're kind of forced into stepping into. But also reminded her that what she's feeling is something that many women are feeling. With the past years, as we've had shifts, acknowledgements, recognitions, fights, struggles, more clarity, and things have come to be seen that weren't seen before with regards to gender equality, Me Too movement, do you have a female or not in the governing, as vice president now, as we may have, or whatever. So all of these things are coming into the forefront. Era of Aquarius, Aquarian values, as I'm going to point out in another subsequent video to this, are equality, fraternity, freedom, okay? The values of the French Revolution. Revolutions and rebellious things are ruled by Aquarius. So as we get closer into this era of Aquarius, which is marked off the beginning of by the solstice on December 21st and this great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter in 0 degrees Aquarius, the great reset, what you want to call it, or the great awakening. As we get closer to that, more of these things like Sagittarius eclipse is helping us to get into the freedom. It's helping us to see where we don't have this equality, where we have these limiting beliefs. And if this falls in your 12th house, if this eclipse falls in there, if you are able to bring up some kind of limiting belief that you are then able to transform, transmute, forgive, heal, and let go, and replace it with an updated program, then you're going to be doing this not just for yourself, but for the entire collective. You heal one, you heal all. Okay? So this might be a tougher process, but it is a super needed process. Like, we're counting on you. And we're counting on each other because, we continue to do this sort of collective healing, whether we know it or not, okay? But the more we're conscious of it, the greater responsibility that we take for it, the greater impact that we will have, and the more that we will begin to heal all the stuff we have to heal as a collective, okay? So there you have it. You've got all the houses, and all you need to do is have your chart, Find 23 degrees Sagittarius and see which one of these houses is where you're going to feel that great big shift. And that's Monday. There's nothing really to do about it other than awareness and understanding. And please super hydrate, okay, because you're going to need water in order to channel all the energy and the codes. Today is 12/12, so today, you know, light codes are also being channeled. There's a lot of that needs to be modified in our DNA, and so you need to be hydrated in order to be able to channel the most amount of light codes and energy that you can. And also sleep. If you feel tired, don't fight it. Sleep, please. Okay, this process is not an easy process. Shifts, transformations, which are brought about by eclipses and all these other things that are going to be happening and that have been happening this year, they require your body to be off so that you can, and your mind to be off so that you can have all energy available for processing and for shifting and for like rearranging molecules and things like that. Okay, so water, hydrate, and not just water. I mean, you know, fruit that is high water content also, okay? Juices, soups, all that kind of stuff, teas, all that stuff, okay? Not caffeinated teas because caffeine is actually a diuretic and it dehydrates you. It drains water from you. It makes you pee a lot. And sleep, nap, like sleep in, take some naps, whatever it is that you need to do, follow what you are feeling, okay? There you have it. You know, you can always email me at maril@marilsalispaz.com for a one-on-one session. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing one-on-one sessions because next year I'll be shifting into some other different things, and maybe also the price will change if I keep them. But for now, I still have some spots available in December, so you can reach out to me and we can discuss how all of this affects you personally and where all this falls in your chart to get you ready for 2021, which is going to be already in the era of Aquarius. Shift, change. So much more to do, okay? Many blessings. You can always also find me on Instagram at marilsalispaz or in Facebook at, Maril Salis Paz as well, or Maril Salis Paz Astrocoaching, I think is what I have it in Facebook. Okay, all the information is always here in the description for how to reach me, for my website, for any information that you may need. Okay, many blessings. Have a wonderful eclipse. Please check where this falls in your chart. The more we know, the better prepared we're going to be, and the more we'll be in charge of or able to conduct the energy of change that's coming our way, because the change is inevitable. Okay, blessings.